Well, welcome everybody. Happy New Year. It called to order. It's Wednesday, January 11th at 6 p.m. It is a special meeting. Roll call. See Chris Bridges here. Attica Houston. Anna White. Bob Rhodes. No,
Not yet.
not yet. Ed Scholl, he is in Cambodia. He let us know. So a motion to excuse Ed Scholl.
I'll second that.
Okay, great. All right, Ed Scholl is excused. Frank Elgwin, introduce Frank Elgwin. He is city council. He is our new rep for the Parks Board. Every year we get a new city council member.
Okay.
Last year it was Lisa Scott. So welcome, Frank.
Thank you.
And I know Scott Anderson is not making it, and I know Tim Hippenstill, our project manager, is not making it, but Anne Reese from the consulting firm, thank you for coming. Appreciate that. And Charles, I don't know if Charles is gonna.
No, I've got, that's what this info is.
Okay, perfect. All right. Still no Bob Rhodes. Okay. Sometimes you just call them.
Yeah, so far no.
All right, well, we will continue on. So I need a motion to approve the meeting, the special meeting agenda for tonight. Motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the minutes from December 14th. Motion to approve the minutes.
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Moving on, public communication. We have two people from the public. If you'd like to make a comment, 3 minutes. No, okay, perfect. Any that you got?
I didn't receive any, but Don
Don
Williams
Williams.
is online. so.
Okay.
Don, do you have a public comment?
No, I don't. Just listening and good evening.
All right, good evening. Happy New Year, Don. Cool. All right. Moving along, old business. So the budget request, hey, it's January, so
Yeah.
we can start moving forward on all of our projects. I don't know what we're gonna do. This is exciting.
Oh, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it
I know,
out.
no, I'm so excited. Well, the first one's the skate park, and as we know, we had some bad news at the last meeting. The skate park is possibly not repairable. And I know that, the city was going to consider whether they were going to do a, engineering, not engineering, what was that? Was that an engineer, structural engineer, to look at that or just remove it? I don't know if the city actually decided what they were gonna do with that. Because Rollins didn't want to touch it without structural engineering looking at it.
I think at this point, the consensus was to go in the direction of redoing the park,
Yes.
with what Charles had identified last week. Is there a Zoom link or is this? Can you send that to me real quick? Because I'm not finding it. I want to share. This, skate park designer and builders, website. But anyway,
Okay.
what Charles had talked about last week is a prefab concrete option, for a new skate park, and, looking at the website, you can get all levels of skill, so from beginner up to, fairly advanced. It just depends how much real estate we have, and we do have more real estate than what is currently concreted for that skate park right now. And so that's all a plus in the real estate that we have. I brought one copy that I was able to print out of Lee Hill Park in Auburn, Washington. This park I would put at a beginner to intermediate level. The photo actually has somebody on a bicycle riding it, oddly enough, but I'm gonna, as soon as I can be on Zoom for everybody, I'm gonna share the website, so you can see a lot of the design and the features. But what Charles has described to me for the prefab solution like Lee Hill is that we basically have a contractor do all the flat work. And all of your construction joints, your not just your control crack joints, but the actual construction joints the expansion joints, that's where those get designed into where those features will be installed, and those get locked into those expansion joints. And that's what keeps them nice and solid and from moving around, so.
And looking back just through the minutes of the last meeting, yeah, we were at the point where to even proceed with the structural engineer was gonna be around 3,000 to 4,000, so.
Right,
I think our recommendation would be that we not pursue that until we, yeah, explore these other options.
do you know what they typically cost for this prefab? A typical prefab is just.
I do not have any
It
price.
depends on the range of features that you're looking to include.
So Addison, when we were talking about possibly looking at the skate park grant, is that something that they would help fund, or do they?
Potentially, I mean, the skate park foundation, if they fund it, I'm not sure how exactly their structure works, if you have to go with one of their contractors, or if you can just, if it's just giving funding, so I'm not sure
Okay.
how involved they are in the build.
Okay.
The point we got to with that exploration was just, we need authorization to reach out, so. It just said reach out, but have an authorized representative of the city reach out, and I wasn't sure at that point if I need to come back to this council or this board to ask for authorization before doing that myself.
Okay, got it. So. I think we have to,
authorization.
well, yeah, no, I think that we need to pursue that, but we have to ask the mayor to,
Yeah.
See if Sarah
that's
Bisbee
something that
Right.
we're
do
interested
that.
into exploring.
I think that we need to pursue any avenue that. Grant. Sure. Is that Bob Rhodes on the phone?
Yeah,
by the way?
he-
Okay, all right, great. Hi, Bob. I know you're on mute, but hi. Okay, so. I mean, I don't mind emailing John and asking
Okay.
and CCing you.
Yeah, that'd be great,
Okay.
and then just, with that, we can proceed in exploring that. I mean, I think it'd be good to figure out like kind of a range of what they spec out to, so.
Yeah,
And I don't know if that's something that you're able to do as well, like. Ask what their estimates are.
Yes, I can contact the designer. I just have to get back to there, so I can just pick the right thing then.
okay. We can keep going and come back. to-
I got it.
Oh, okay.
And do you know, are they expandable? So if we started maybe with what we could afford 1 year, is there, because you're talking about how you can kind of click them and they have the joints up, can we expand onto them? As maybe a budget yearly or something and make it, larger?
I imagine that. There's a lot of option of what we could do. So as I do this, it kind of covers it up, but this is kind of your more advanced bowl.
Mhm.
Again, it is above grade. I'll move my cursor so you can see that again. So it's still something that's being put on all of the flat work. But what I really like about it, as opposed to what we have now, is it has stairs to get people up to the platform where you start from. And right now you've got to get up those ramps, and those ramps, I keep sliding back down.
Right,
It's that steep on that wedge and the other. So, there are different sizes and different types and configurations. Here's literally a tube, right there in the center. That's very advanced.
right.
I personally would not recommend that for us. We'd have too many kids trying to do stuff that they just don't have the skill level for. And then over here on this far side, this is what I think of when you talk about expanding, is you've got more green space. And how flexible are we with where we put the joints to be able to move stuff around? Expand it, take up some of the green space with more skate park area. I think we want to take a look and really get some dimensions off of the full footprint of what is available over there.
Okay.
I can talk with somebody from Spawn Ranch, I'm
Yep.
not sure how it's pronounced. But you can see there is a lot option, what they do. Not all of these are necessarily your prefab
Yep.
feature,
Mhm.
but a lot of these are a prefab feature.
Okay.
And I really like that they have a picture on there with a bowl that is above grade and not in the ground. To show us that that is something we could have
Yes, yeah.
without
that's nice.
concern for our groundwater levels.
Right.
Can you also find out if it is expandable, does that mean it's also repairable?
Yes,
So if an area is, can we take it out and repair as needed, that would be something long,
Yep.
longevity that we.
Kind of like the highway department.
Yeah,
Right,
right,
yeah.
yeah, section, fix it, make it bigger, take off another direction,
Yeah.
you know, that would be great.
And as far as expandability, I mean, it would really just be a matter of like having an overall concept before we begin. That way you can kind of build a phased approach to it. So when you add pieces, they fit into a layout that's kind of already oriented, or we're already oriented. around.
And that would be exciting too for the students, because then they can, you know, maybe if every other year, whatever the budget allowed,
Yeah.
oh, now it's getting better and better and better, and we can keep expanding, so.
Yeah.
Sure, depending on where we put it, absolutely, yeah. Well, we've got to do something, so, right,
yeah,
that's awesome. Well, I didn't know you could go above ground with prefab.
yeah.
Probably that's a pretty good draining system that needs to be put in as well, right?
Yeah, we'll have to make sure, because the flat work is really desired to be as flat as possible for skateboarding. But, you know, you gotta be very, aware of the slope leading into a trick.
Mhm.
Okay, you don't want it to be going, it's kind of like when you're driving, you want your banking to go with your
I'm
curve.
referring more to the writing.
Yeah,
the
but,
sitting
right,
inside,
so,
yeah.
but we don't want,
That side's open.
yeah, we aren't gonna want any drainage within it, so it's gonna have to have that 1%, just that 1% that's basically flat, but it's just enough for everything to run off and not pond on
Like a
it.
shower, it's like a shower floor.
Yeah.
Just enough of a. slope.
Just enough.
Okay,
But that's,
Okay.
they would do the whole design on that flat work. And then we would put our storm drainage around the
Okay.
outside of it. And try not to have it on the inside, because,
How deep is the inside?
of that one,
The
bowl?
second, yeah, that one bowl design.
I would say it's probably 4 or 5 feet.
Okay, so
Looking at the fact that there's 1, 2, 3.
is that not
4, 5,
maybe
6, 7,
made for
8, 9,
California? Or someplace in Arizona,
I
or
mean,
someplace
you
that's
can-
not a really a weather water place, because I mean.
Oh, well, yeah, if we did something like that here, we would have to have a drainage.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, that was.
Right.
Yeah, okay, I thought you meant that overall.
Oh, no, I meant in that.
Yeah, in the bowl, yeah, you
I'm
got,
kind of referring to, you like the idea that it's above ground, and I'm thinking, if it's above ground, we gotta have some sort of drain plumbing system, because that would just fill
Yeah.
up and get slimy.
yeah,
So-
no, that would have to happen.
Turn into a pool.
So the one thing with bowls is like bowls do get to more advanced, and so it's like having some of these more open, flat
Okay,
layouts with more
yeah.
of these banks around the sides or mounds might be more preferable than the
Mhm.
bowls, just because, I mean, if you do look at usability for like all age groups and whatnot, bowls, I mean, you do have to either start off in the bottom or drop in. And so it does create that learning curve a little quicker, and also if you have one person going in a bowl, it's really hard for other people to go at the same time, whereas if you spread it out and kind of create different banks and different features, you can have kids kind of more spread out where they can be
Okay.
skating one area
Mhm.
and not necessarily worrying about colliding with somebody
Yeah.
riding in circles.
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
point.
That's what's
Especially in
kind
the
of neat
summer
about
months.
this one,
Yeah.
is you've got a lot of different areas and people can isolate to an area. And this one, you can have more of a beginner and then work your way towards the more
Mhm.
advanced.
Okay,
This one to me is what would be fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
Um,
yeah, that-
Yeah, that looks like
Yeah,
fun.
exactly.
Yeah.
that looks like-
This, you know, kind of fits, with our footprint in a, but in a round sense. And that you've got, you know, the different banks, you got something in the middle, and they've got rails in it. So that's a small footprint, that one that's in the upper right corner right now, that's your smaller footprint. And then, a couple of these, so one of these are showing, it's a gunite concrete, made in place. Where you see that guy in the green shirt.
yeah,
These orange slices or whatever these are in that corner, those are kind of cute. And then this one that's just coming up into that, left top corner, that actually looks like it has some kind of a rail. And a ramp, so that you get a lot of different types of tricks that a boarder could do. They could pop up on the rail and go up and over. the concave or, yeah, convex ramp part of it and then back onto the rail and off again. They could just ride the rail, kind of a neat look there, and then just a few more
Okay.
options. So what I will do is I will try and get the area, I'll go on GIS and just try and get a takeoff on the area footprint that we actually have. This is, this one showing on the left right now. Again, it's a really cool opportunity for a beginner to a more advanced.
That's
This
really
one doesn't
fun.
look like it's as much of your prefab as it is built in place.
Oh,
But it doesn't mean that they can't do it as a prefab, we gotta talk to them.
sure.
But that looks like it might be very comparable to the real estate we really have. It might have a little bit less than that.
That looks like it would fit for everybody.
It does, it has all kinds of options in that design there on the left, so.
So how much was the current budget that we had for this year?
And
And.
$10,000.
that's Maybe enough to do the groundwork.
well, well, and we gotta take a look at,
Let's stay positive.
No, I'm saying that's 10 that we can leverage towards a grant, so I mean, 10 can easily turn into 30 or more.
and 10 could be, the design cost.
Yeah, there you go.
But
And
Where's
we
the
have-
company located?
this company is out of Los Angeles.
Okay.
And I'm sure if I Google around, I can find other companies, but this is the one that did it as the prefab features, so.
Thank you very
So-
much.
Do we need to make a formal recommendation then for council not to pursue any renovations then, or is that just solely on us?
Well,
Because at this point, I mean, with that spot of the structural engineer, do we need to pass forward a recommendation to not
So that's-
pursue that?
yeah, so the last meeting, what I recall was we were still not sure. We weren't sure what we were gonna do. We like,
But-
Yeah, you
Because
wanted us
we-
to come back with
We want
this
to.
information.
Yeah,
and what the
so-
options might be.
I mean, at this point. We can ask council, like, look, you can spend the $3,000 for a structural engineer to tell us that it's going to cost. At minimum,
More than
it's
$7,000.
fine, but more than $7,000 in the membrane repair, because I think Robbins came back with us at 15 or 18,000 for the membrane.
At one of the numbers, the rough order magnitude estimate they gave us, I believe I saw 18.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we're still
Yeah.
over that
Yeah.
regardless, and that's
Yeah.
best case scenario.
Yeah.
Best case
Okay.
scenario, we're looking at $21,000 just in trying to fix what we
A
have.
Band-Aid.
Correct, a Band-Aid,
Yeah, a Band-Aid. for
and we still
some-
don't have the money.
Yeah.
So can we, with that kind of request then for authorization to explore the grant opportunities, should we just roll forward a formal recommendation to explore other options for
Yes.
replacing it instead of repairing it?
Correct, yes, but the other thing is though, I think our recommendation now, we have to just, how do we just take down the skate park as it is right now, because. Is at a point where
That's my
it's-
vote. I don't want to throw good money
Is
after
it,
bad.
we're at a point that
Yeah.
it could is it going to potentially? And that's where Tim, that's why. I said to Tim that they need to figure out what they want to do, so.
If you ask me as a consultant, I might recommend that you take down the wedge and you take down the two pieces on the ends. Leave the center, it's in much better shape, it's not, it's kind of more of a,
Transition.
and a beginner level.
Okay.
Tricks on that, the only thing that you're losing is the speed that you get by going down one of the other ramps in order to do things on that.
Can you
center.
take down the two ends and still leave that center?
And what's gonna be there when we take it down? What's gonna be
Yeah, is
exposed
that
or
gonna
what's
be-
gonna?
I believe we're just gonna have concrete slab under it.
Well, that'd be great. I mean, that's a simple,
Yeah.
that's,
Just, so,
So the recommendation
also one of the. I would really like to see there be a forward plan to replace it,
Right.
or at least
Before anything
commit
comes up.
it to
Right.
replace it, cause yeah,
Yeah.
once we start removing that, it is gonna displace the skaters from that area right
Mm-hmm.
now. And they will go back to the convention center or other areas.
Yeah.
Kind of like disrupting a bee's nest.
Yeah.
Once you hit it, they're gonna kind of fly away,
Right.
until you give them something, and it's like,
Yeah.
I would say this would be a really great opportunity to engage with them too, and build that kind of, collaboration between the city and the group, because I mean, typically skaters are kind of pushed out to the side and seen as an inconvenience, so. It's like, if we
Yeah.
actively include them, then I think they'll be a lot less likely to just go. Like, you removed our skate park and just go skate everywhere.
Kind of like snowboarders at ski resorts in the
Yeah.
beginning. They weren't allowed there, so they could just go and tear up the regular ski slopes and everything. And once they started getting, you know,
That's a.
their
really
own
good
aspects
analogy.
of it, then
Yeah.
they started respecting the other ski areas. They still go down, but they don't tear them up.
I remember when rollerblades first came on the scene.
Yeah,
Our neighborhood skate rink wouldn't let them in.
yeah.
I mean, it's like, the
Okay.
thing with rolls on it.
So the recommendation is to remove the two ends, but keep the middle piece,
But only after a commitment to,
but only after. commitment.
it's, nothing's gonna fall down. I mean, it's not, the only hazard is the skaters have to be aware of where they hit those ramps to make sure they're not hitting the bumps that can stop their wheels and send them flying forward.
Yeah, cause I mean, once we put, or at least have some sort of commitment, like from the city to do something with it.
Yeah.
Then we can also, like, as we're doing that, we can say, or put up a sign and say, hey, this is under renovation, instead of just, hey, this disappeared, cause I mean.
Sure.
The history with the parks too has been, things have disappeared more than being replaced.
Yes. Okay, all right. Think so.
To do a vote on that,
No, your recommendation for the things coming down will go to the city. Your want and commitment would go from Councilmember Eldwin to the council.
Welcome to the Parks Board.
right?
That's a good ad hoc committee, though.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It would
It'd be a fun one.
Mhm.
Yeah. What?
Are we done with the skate park?
I think so,
Okay.
yeah. We're done with the skate park. Okay, toilets, Chinook toilets. Well, we get to order toilets, so I forward that on to Tim.
Everybody needs a toilet, so it's exciting for everybody.
Yeah, so the
Did we decide on a design so we know where the toilets are going?
Cortez, so it
No,
definitely,
no, I mean, at the park.
well,
that's-
we're getting into
Later.
that.
Okay.
Oh.
Mhm.
So we're doing the Cortez, and I mean, I think the next would be like colors, but I don't really think that it matters. I mean, the city can probably just pick the colors. they
I
want.
was amazed at the other palettes and, you know,
So
it's like,
color palettes, that's right. And then,
oh, it's really great.
and then the city
It's
can
an awesome
decide what
publication.
I mean,
they want on the inside.